I said, I'll stick to my word as long as you stick to yours. And they've been great. Coaches have been really positive coming back. I tried to show them day one that I put in the work, and I think they noticed. So they've given me a fair go, and that's all I could have asked. So.
Episode 11 of The Talking Points and the first of 2021. We've got Tom McDonald with us. Tommy, thanks for your time.
Hey, Benny. How are you, mate?
Very good, thank you. Now, the first thing that we've got to talk about is your fitness. Everyone's noticed you are in great shape. Can you feel the difference compared to years gone by?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm probably not as fit as I have been in before. Like in my second, third year of footy was probably the fittest I'd ever been, but I was second year player and I was, 12 to 15 kilos lighter. So it was I don't know if I'll ever get back to that stage where, like, time trial wise, it was as fit as I've ever been. But for now and being the body shape that I want to be, it's as good as I've felt in a while. So I tried to focus less on the endurance running and more on short, sharp movements, repeat speed stuff, knowing that that'll still help, running around a full footy game as well. And yeah, I think it's worked well. Like, I've come back feeling pretty fit, ran well in the time trial sort of side of it, but it's more that I feel better actually running out the game style sort of running that I've noticed the difference. Yeah.
You've always been a hard trainer. Was this off-season any different?
It was different, probably in the fact that so I didn't actually train that much harder, or any harder really. Like
different type of
work.
work.
Different type of work, and I didn't stop. So the last 5 to 6 rounds of the year, I wasn't playing much. I don't think I played a ones game for the last month or so, and we had a couple of twos games in the back paddocks of Brisbane where it was it was a shambles really. It was quite extraordinary, some of the ovals we played at and where we were. Yeah, so the workload in the last month of the year was a bit lower than what you probably have if I was in the one side and you were getting ready to hopefully play finals. So I didn't stop running. So I normally wouldn't stop weights in the off season anyway, but I just thought I'm just going to run every second day for the whole off season, which normally you'd have a 3 or 4 week break and you'd just run Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I just said I'll do every second day, and I'll start off slowly. And then build up. So by the time the group's back into their sort of slower running, I'm ready to go with intense stuff. So that's what I did, and I felt really good. Like, I didn't feel like I wasn't absolutely busting myself for that 3 or 4 weeks. So I still felt like mentally I had a bit of a break, but physically was feeling good to get back into more intense stuff. And I think it helped me. Whether that's maintainable over long term of just not having any rest off legs is probably another debate. But I thought for this year that's something I needed to do. And I think it helped me. So I felt really confident coming back that I'd done a heap more running than probably anyone else, and it was going to help me play well.
You mentioned a few of those challenges in the hub in terms of actually playing, but you had your newborn baby, Bella, come up with your wife, Ruby. How did you find that whole experience?
Look, I still think it was a good experience because I would have rathered that than be either separate from them or all of us be home and stuck in Melbourne and not playing footy and not being able to do anything like the rest of Melbourne was. So while we weren't able to do much in the hub, and it was challenging, particularly with sleep, because we're in a hotel room with our little 3-month-old who any movement from her or us was a wake up. So it was probably, for 3 or 4 months didn't have much more than an hour and a half of sleep straight. I still wouldn't have changed it because it was so special to be around her still. Like, I couldn't have imagined not having my daughter around for 3 or 4 months.
We've got to go to the trade period now. Obviously, your name was thrown around a little bit. How was that whole month or so for you trying to get your head around what was going on?
Yeah, look, I went through so many different emotions with it. It was there was a part of it where I was just really flat that, I thought my time was going to be done at Melbourne, to being excited about a new opportunity and new challenges, to things sort of falling through for a couple of different reasons, and then getting really excited again about the chance to come back to Melbourne and prove a few people wrong. So it was a bit of a whirlwind, and I don't know, it was just strange. I'd never been through it, and I think I was a little bit lucky knowing that worst case scenario, I was still going to be on an AFL list. I was still going to be here at Melbourne, and I wasn't going to be out on the street without a job. So I guess it could have been worse, but yeah, it was interesting, and I just tried to use that for a bit of motivation with training. Going, well, wherever I go, I'm going to try and prove people wrong that I'm still a very good player.
Did it make it awkward at all coming back here, knowing?
Nah, it wasn't awkward because Goody, when we finished at the end of the year, I told him my plans for the off season, and he goes, well, if you do that and you stick to it, we'll give you a fresh slate. And so I said, I'll stick to my word as long as you stick to yours. And they've been great. Coaches have been really positive coming back. I tried to show them day one that I put in the work, and I think they noticed. So they've given me a fair go, and that's all I could have asked. So, yeah.
One of the best things for you probably is your versatility. You've obviously played down back and up forward, could play on the wing. Where have you sort of settled at this point in the pre-season?
Well, not 100% certain. I've been probably doing more wing at the moment, bit of a wing mixing forward, but I'll probably train the first month of the pre-season as forward, and then the last 3 to 4 weeks has been probably 2 to 3 weeks has been more wing. So I think it'll be a bit of a mix and match there, and might depend on the matchup and who's fit. So if Benny Brown's potentially injured for the next month or so, could be more of a roll forward, but honestly it might depend. But yeah, last 2 or 3 weeks has been playing more wing role, which has been really fun.
Yeah,
really. I did a bit of that in 2018. Like I'd always start quarters on the wing and would sort of see how I was going there versus forward. So I know I can definitely do it, but it's probably learning the intricacies of stoppage position, which you just don't do as a key forward. So that's probably the main thing to learn.
There's a fair bit of competition for spots up forward, in particular with you got Sammy Wiedemann, Luke Jackson, obviously Ben Brown, Mitch Brown. Do you think that's healthy for the team, that there is so many people?
It's good for the team. It's not good for us because we all want to play. So I can't imagine they're going to play 5 key forwards. You never know. But it just adds a bit of pressure and a bit of stress to the situation. So I guess if you can deal with it, great. You get the guys playing as good as they possibly can, and it brings the best out of each other, hopefully. So. But like Jackson can play every position on the ground. Like he can play on ball, wing, ruck, forward. I'm sure he could play back if he had to. So he's got a fair bit of versatility. Sammy and Brownie are probably the two that play key forward, and Mitch Brown plays a bit all over the place as well. So I think if we can play different roles, it'll help us be in the same side.
Very good. Well, looking forward to seeing you have a crack wherever it may be. Thanks very much for your time, Tommy.
Thanks, Benny.